Alright guys, so if you saw the thumbnail, that might be a bit harsh where I said Bitcoin makes people stupid. Maybe a lot of stupid people are drawn to Bitcoin. Look, I like Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of potential for it, at least speculative wise. I'm going to cover all this. A lot of these other YouTubers are they're just frustrating watching some of them, and just it's always something bullish and we're going to the moon, and I think they're leading a lot of people to get wrecked. I'm going to cover all this. We're going to go in detail about it. If you also saw the thumbnail, I'm doing a raffle for some 1080 Ti's. Let me scroll down to this. By the way, when you hear a cat meowing, this is the cat you hear. This is me. This was me in a tournament some years back. A photographer came and was filming the tournament. She took a shot of me. This is another picture of me. So guys, you have a face to go with the voice. Let's see here. So this is my setup currently. I have 4 1080 Ti's. I actually have a 5th one, but I let a friend use it. He's a gamer. But I need to upgrade my 1080 Ti's. These are GTXs. I need to upgrade to RTX 2080 Ti's. So that's why I'm selling. Well, I was going to sell them, but I figured I would try to do a raffle. This might be more trouble than it's worth, but I figured I'd give it a try and see how it goes. So these are the two in the car, in the computer, and these are the two outside of the computer. Guys, I bought these brand new, so whoever wins one of these, it will be in the box. I take care of these. They've never been overclocked. Again, I only use these every once in a while. I get a project, I render for about 2 or 3 hours, project's done, they stay idle until I get another project. So again, they're in great condition. So again, this is why this is the program. Again, guys, I do 3D animations. I have clients. I need to upgrade to RTX 2080s or RTX cards. So that's why like I said, I'm selling the 1080 Ti's, so I can upgrade to RTX, because the new version of Octane Render is optimized for RTX cards. You get 2 to 5 times render speed. So that's why I could sell these on eBay around $600 to $550. So again, that would be close to my target. And so I'm gonna have an Ethereum address in the description. Also, I'll have a tweet pinned on my Twitter account. But basically, I need you, if you want to enter to win this, to win the card, you need to send equal to $10 USD to that Ethereum address. I understand that price fluctuates, but at the time you send it, it needs to be equal to $10 USD, and I'll be able to tell because I'll see when the transactions come in. Like I said, I know the price fluctuates, but you need to send it at least equal to $10 at the time you send it. If you send $5, you just throw away $5. It has to be $10. Secondly, if you want to send in $10 in Ethereum to qualify to win one of these, you also need to send an email with a screenshot of you sending payment. You also need to copy your Ethereum address and paste it somewhere in the email, and you need to paste in your either your YouTube name or your Twitter name, because that's what I'm going to use to randomly select the person that's going to win one of these. And I will do that in a live stream, by the way. But the reason I need you to put your Ethereum address in there and also a screenshot, guys, there's a lot of scammers out there. Somebody could go on the blockchain and look up and see that someone sent something from an address and then try to take credit for the money you sent. So if you already sent me an email and I have your Ethereum address, and I know it came from you, so if someone sends me an email with your address, I'll know that it's a bunch of crap and I can just delete that email. So guys, I'm trying to protect me and protect you. That's the reason for doing that. So listen, if you sent $10 but you did not follow the rules and send the screenshot of you sending it, your Ethereum address, and your YouTube or your Twitter name, you just throw away $10. I am not going to go back and send back $10 to each person. But again, if I did not reach my target, then basically the raffle will just be for the pot. So if there's like $300, $350 in there and I didn't reach my target for the cost of the card, again, the raffle will be you just win everything that's in that Ethereum address, the entire pot, whatever's in there, you win that. And guys, if wherever you're located, I will take care of shipping. If you're in Antarctica, I will pay for shipping to send it there. So just want to cover that. Again, these cards, they work great. There's nothing wrong with them. I just need to upgrade my cards. Okay, just really quick. So this was a tweet I put out, was May 17th. I was saying, pay attention to this ring. Potentially could be a pivot ring. You can see we're finding support on this line right here. So this ring could either, we were finding resistance here repeatedly. So either it continued to push us down, or when we break it, we could possibly get a pump. You can see how it played out. So right here, this is where I was saying, watch when we cross this ring, get a pump. Right here, you can see as soon as we pushed above it, it pumped. I said watch resistance around 9,800. There's a lot of charts we're showing confluence around 9,800. This ring right here, we've been respecting going way back. This red ring, that was 9,800. This line was 9,800. I had other charts that also showed 9,800. You see, this is how it played out. We came up. We did wick way above it, but we came, though this is on the 3 hour, we came down below this blue line in this fib channel. You can see we got topped out at this red ring as expected. That's why I was saying that, you know, 9,800 was a likely target to hit. And, you know, I'll cover these charts. These are the new 2.0 charts. This is the Bitstamp 2.0 chart. This is the Bitstamp B chart, Coinbase A chart, Bitstamp ring chart. Let's see here. This tweet I was talking about. For those of you that are bullish, if we continue sideways from here, there will be a Bitcoin CME futures gap tomorrow between 9,750 to potentially 9,200. And guys, that's how it works. You know, if this is where we closed on Friday, price pumped over the weekend, that creates a gap. This is the gap that was created, and at the time, price was going down. We pushed up a bit, but you know, again, I do expect this to come down and fill the gap. This was a previous gap we had over here. You see, we wicked all the way up to $10,000 to close that gap. So it just makes sense. We'll probably come back down and fill this gap down below. Let's see here. This was a ring we were coming up on. Someone, and I said 3 tweets back, someone asked what would happen when we hit this white ring. I would have to scroll down and find that tweet that I was referring to, but some dimwit decided to make a post in here. This Pextus, we'll just call him Dimwit. He said, why did not answer him back then? Hindsight is perfect. Your chart should be predictive, either up or down. Not once it happens, it's, you see, I told you so. Well, if this idiot would have actually gone back and looked, I did respond to the guy. I said, WTF, what are you talking about? But here, the guy asked, what are your thoughts on the white ring that is approaching in the next 12 to 24 hours or so? On the 2 hour Bitstamp chart, I mean, we are riding now under the pink. He means the red line, or red ring. Though next ahead is a white circle that seems to connect with all of the previous pumps. So this guy knows what's going on. He knows how to read these charts. And this is my response to him, that this guy should have gone back and looked and saw that I did respond. I said, not sure, but I definitely pay attention to when we make contact and cross it. The last 2 times we pumped after crossing, so it's possible we pump or it could push us down. Either way, price has been respecting previous rings and fib circle, so rest assured price will respect next ring. Again, this is, let me go back here. So you can see this is where, this is the chart he's talking about in the ring. You see price was underneath this red ring. This is one he called pink. We were going sideways. We're going to be touching this ring within 12 to 24 hours. And this is what happened right here. As soon as we hit the ring, it pushed us down. Guys, all the rings on my charts, whenever you approach a ring, always pay attention when you get near this ring, and especially when you cross a ring. Typically what happens is it'll either push you down and continue pushing you down. I'll show you these charts. We're going to go over them. But basically, I call them pivot rings because either it's going to come up, you'll get resistance, push you down. We could hit it again, push us down. When you cross it, you could get a pump. We'll go over some of that. But, you know, again, guys, they're not here for decoration. These rings are here for a reason. This ring's going to come into play. This ring's going to come into play. All of them will come into play. They give you resistance and support, and they give you pivot points. Also, I covered the stock market. We're going to go over that as well. You know, pre-market trading data before the stock market opened had it up plus 738 points. And I guess people were super bullish. And I was telling people, you know, when the stock market closed on Friday, or yeah, when it closed on Friday, we were a strong resistance. People were super bullish. The government, well, certain parts of the government want to, you know, reopen businesses. They have their own agenda. They want the economy, you know, they want the stock market back up. They think, you know, businesses start opening, you know, everything will get back to normal. It's in the best interest of some. I think it's going to be short-lived. You know, people are getting bullish, but I think this is going to be coming right back down. anyways, we'll get into that. But I was telling people that when we pushed up, I expect us to get topped out at this ring right here. I gave a target of 24,370. This was the tweet I put out after. You can see we pushed up. We pushed above it a bit and retraced right back down below this ring. We are actually pushing above that right now. People are super bullish. I mean, you can see this is currently plus it's up over 1,000 points right now. So this is that ring. This is how much we're above the ring. We've been above this ring this much before. Right here we were above it by 2.5%. Currently we're above it by what, 1.2%, which isn't that much. If we do push up higher, this is your next ring above, so look at a target around 25,563, but I think it'll potentially end up coming back down. And I can zoom out and show you this ring. I mean, this fib circle right here, this is the same fib circle I used to predict the stock market crash. And guys, I'll have a link in the description for that previous video, but I'm sure if you've been following me, you saw where I predicted where Bitcoin was going to crash, and that I predicted that the Dow Jones was going to crash in late February because of this blue ring and this white ring. Again, the same fib circle right here. But you can see that this ring has been a lot of support and resistance right here. This ring we're currently finding, we're currently above it, but I think we'll be coming back below it. But you see resistance here, resistance, support, resistance. Got support on this ring, resistance, support here. This is that ring right here we found support on again. This is that ring we're currently just barely above right now. So, like I said, we pushed above it and came back down. So I do think we'll be coming back down. But again, guys, if you are bullish, this could go higher. If it does go higher, look at potentially 25,569. So let's go into, let's cover this chart here with this ring that dimwit had made a comment about. Not the guy that was asking the question, but the one that said I didn't respond. Let's see. So this is that ring. Let me show you this ring real quick. This is what I'm talking about. If you have access to the charts, by the way, guys, if you don't have access to my charts, the link for my website's in the description. It's opticalartcrypto.com. All these charts play out live on all devices. You do not need a TradingView account. You just click the link and the charts load up. If you do have a TradingView account, though, and TradingView accounts are free, by the way, to set up. My charts are shareable. Just click the copy icon. You can save these charts as your own. But the guy that was asking that question, he was talking about, and this is what he was referring to. You can see how well price is respecting this fib circle. Pivot here, pivot there, went sideways, support, drop down to this ring, drop down to this ring, found support here, and you can see right here, when we rode up it, you can get more details to go to smaller time frames. This is on the daily, but you can see when we crossed this ring, we had a pump. This is what he was talking about. Next ring we crossed, we had a pump, and it dropped down. So that's why he was asking if we cross this ring, could we get a pump? It is possible. We could cross this ring and get another pump, just like the previous two rings. That's why it's always good to look left, see how price interacted with rings previously to get an idea. Just because it pumped at the previous two rings does not mean it has to pump at this ring. But sometimes it can help you, get an idea of what could happen. But either way, always pay attention to a ring that we're coming up on, especially when you see how well price is respecting previous rings. And if we go to the smaller time frame here, I mean, you can see how well price has been respecting these. I mean, this pretty much dropped almost to the ring. But price respects all these rings, guys. I take a lot of time to set these charts up and put these rings on here. So I know this is running a little long, so I'm just going to try to sum this up pretty quick. So this is my ring of death here. I'm calling it ring of death because I do think when we cross this ring, we're going to be coming down. We're at very strong resistance right now. You can see, and I put this trend line here just to show you. This is back at, this is December 2018. We get support, resistance, support, resistance. You see right here, we found support. We broke through it, and currently we cannot get above this point right here. There's so much resistance right here. I do not see us getting above this point. If we do push above it, I think it will be after when we cross this ring. If you're bullish and you're waiting for that big move, I expect it to happen within, I guess, we'll make contact with the ring in about 8 or 9 days. We'll cross it in about 10. So it's about 10 days before I expect us to have a big move. Again, I expect us to cross this and come down. If you're bullish and you're waiting for that big move, I expect it to happen once we cross this ring. But like I said, I think it's more likely we'll be coming down. You can see when we cross this ring here, we had a drop. Notice when we dropped, look where we dropped to, right to this next white ring below. That's how well price is respecting this fib circle. And I can show you, I mean, I can go back. I mean, you had a perfect pivot here. You had a pivot right here, found support and resistance, push to the next ring, push to this ring, push to this one, support and resistance. You had a resistance, you had a pivot, support. We rode right up this ring as support, dropped below, became resistance, dropped to the next one, respecting all of these smaller circles inside, these smaller rings inside of this fib circle. We rode down this one, had a drop, found support, 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 pushed up. It was support and resistance. You get a smaller time frame, you can see how well it's respecting it. I'm on the daily here, but you can see we came down, we found support on this trend line. As soon as we hit this ring and this trend line, we had a drop, came back up, perfect resistance twice, also respecting this blue fib circle. So again, price is respecting this white fib circle really well. So I do expect, just like I showed you the previous rings, guys, previous videos I put out, previous charts, when I tell you that a ring is going to potentially have a pivot, I mean, when price is respecting a ring this big, this well, expect a pretty major move when you cross that ring. And again, that's roughly 10 days before we cross this ring. And just like right here, when we cross this point, we hit right here at this next white ring. So if we cross this white ring, your next target is going to be the white ring below. You know, whether it's more out to the side, we have a straight drop. You'll find support on this ring. Then potentially we could ride up this ring and then drop to the next one. If we push up, same thing. If we push up, expect this blue ring to be potential resistance, because again, we're respecting this blue fib circle as well. Notice we were finding support and resistance. When we broke it, we eventually came, well, we found support on this one. We came up, we found support and resistance on this one. So if we push up, this ring will be resistance as well as this white ring. But I do expect a major move when we hit this ring again. I'm calling it the ring of death. I think we'll be coming down. And again, this is the peak of the bull run chart. This is another one that called the bottom. And you can see how well price is respecting this this red fib circle. Resistance, you pushed up, we're finding support on it. Once we broke it, we had a drop. Came down to this ring, found support. Found more support. Since we broke it, we had a drop. Where did we drop to? Right to this next red ring. So if we have another drop, you know, look at this red ring potentially to be a point to put in another bottom. If we break that ring, we're coming down to this ring. That's why I'm saying we potentially could come as low as, you know, 2,000 to 2,500 with a possible wick down to 1,800. I will give you some price targets, but real quick, I just want to go over one thing. You know, a lot of these YouTubers that are super bullish saying that the bull run's about to start, you know, I've been watching these YouTubers, and it's just funny. You know, they'll say, we are, you know, this is the 200 daily moving average. We're below the 200 daily moving average. We're in a bear market. We're above it. We're in a bull market. Oh, back in a bear market. We're above it. We're in a bull market. We're in a bear market. Oh, back in a bull market. Nope, it just tanked. Well, we're back above it, so I guess we're in a bull market. No, I don't think so. You know, and also, I remember back when I was you know, calling for a drop. You know, one way that I got my target, I mean, I had different ways I found the target of 4,000. But one way I did it was our previous bear market, 2015. I just went from our lowest point to our second lowest point, and that was about 30% higher. And that's another way I came up with our target of 4,000. You come from our previous bottom, you come up 30%, and that brings you right to around 4,000. People said there's no way it can drop to 4,000 because you can't break the 200 weekly moving average. It's never happened in the history of Bitcoin. Well, you know what? We broke it and then some. So it can be broken, and it will be broken again. I mean, we broke it back here. I mean, that's proof. It was proof to me. But either way, you know, people are saying it can't be broken. Well, you know, it got broken, guys. The other thing is, let me turn off this moving average. So if we're not in log scale, you know, a lot of these YouTubers out there, they're making this look more bullish than it actually is. You know, they'll draw. Let me go to the daily here. they'll draw a trend line, and they'll draw it like this. So they'll say this. Let me zoom out a bit. So they'll say this is our support right here, which does make it look more bullish. You know, so this is our support. And, you can draw this a number of ways. I mean, I guess this does kind of look nice, but you can say that we're in this pattern. I think most of the bullish YouTubers are saying we're in this pattern. You know, which doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, you do have 2 points of confluence here. We did wick down below it and came back up here. So, you know, but anyways, they're saying, well, we didn't make it above. We came down here, found support. So as soon as we break this, we're off to the moon. Or we come back down and test it one more time, and we're off to the moon. You know, I don't see it that way. I think that when you do it this way, it looks a little more bullish. I think we've already broken our support, and we're ready to plummet, and I'll show you why that's the case. Because when you chart, this is why I chart in log scale, because things look a lot different when you're in log scale. So when you have it this way, and you look at the support, and guys, a lot of my charts are based off of this exact trend line right here. And you know, when you have support, you know, you can dip below support a little bit, come back above it, drop below it, but when you see prices respecting it repeatedly, and that's even better, if price drops below it and then finds resistance and then finds support above it, then resistance below it, then you know you have an accurately placed trend line. So right here, you would move this up. Because you see this point where price dropped down right here. So you can see, hold on, let me go back and move this. Let me get this just right. Again, guys, this is how I have one of my charts set up based on this trend line. So you can see right here you find support, repeatedly you found support, more support, more support. Right here, you found support on it, you came below it, you found support, resistance, support, resistance. Over here you find support on it, you come below it, it's resistance, you push above it, you pump, you find support, you find more support. As soon as you break it, this is when we had a drop. Right now, guys, we cannot make it above this point. This is right here at 10,000. I think that is the top, because if we did push above it briefly back here, but I think this is the point where we're topped out. And the reason I'm saying this is bearish is we broke a support level that goes back all the way to 2015. I mean, look how much support this was, going so far back. And guys, typically, you know, support becomes resistance, and this is very strong support going back this many years, and we pushed up, and we're not making it above this point. And if you draw a trend line up top, you know, you can draw this multiple ways. I think that this probably fits nicely, and you go from the peak, because you're always going to get, you know, wicks that go above, but you got resistance here, you got resistance here, and we're, you know, even though we're wicking above it, we keep coming back below this point. You know, you can adjust this different ways. You know, like I said, there's a lot of you know, extreme wicks that go up, but it just, to me, it seems like there's so much resistance above us. I just think it's more likely we're coming down. So I'm going to give you some price targets to the upside and downside just based on some of these charts. This is the Bitstamp 2.0 chart. So if we push up, look for your first resistance level to be around 9,800. Next resistance is 10,126. Next resistance is 10,500. Guys, I have a lot of charts that show 10,500. 10,500 is a lot of resistance. So if we do push up, look to get rejected there, at least temporarily, if you're bullish. Again, if we have a drop, you will find support around 9,470. Keep in mind, this ring will be support as well. Your next support level below that is 8,920, 8,742, 8,500, and then you have strong support down here at 8,230. Guys, always refer to different charts for different targets. Basically, it's pretty simple, guys. Just load up a chart, look left. If a line was previously very strong support, you know it'll be strong support again. This chart here, you can see this is the one I was talking about. You know, we were finding resistance at this orange ring. we pushed above it, right to the next orange ring, support and resistance. We couldn't make it above it right here. We dropped right back down, even though we had some crazy wicks. It came down to this, what I'm calling strong support right here at about 84, 8500. You see we wicked down but to it. As soon as we hit it, we pushed up. So, you know, when we hit these strong support levels, and I know it's strong support, that's what I was saying, you go back and you look left. I have this trend line here just to show you the line of the fib channel I'm talking about. We hit it, got rejected, rejected. We hit it repeatedly, got rejected. There's more resistance, more resistance. As soon as we pushed above it, we had a pump. Like I said, you know, this was a pivot ring. It took a while, but you can see we pushed up to this ring. There's resistance. Pushed up to this ring. Couldn't make it above it. Dropped down to this one. We wicked up. But you see the meat of the candles are right above this orange ring. We pushed up again. Found support on this ring. We pushed up. Look where we topped out. Right at this next orange ring. So it just makes sense for coming back down. And where did we come back down to? Well, your next support level, the same one. Right here, we hit this. This is the Coinbase A chart. We hit right at 9,125, right on this trend line. Then we shot up from here all the way to pretty much 10,000. So you will find support on this again. You know, I would be less comfortable buying here. I'd rather wait till we came down to this point, because if you keep testing a point, eventually it's going to break. You could hit it, get a small bounce. But again, I probably wouldn't buy at this point. It'd be a little too risky for me. I would be buying when we come down here. This is the next support. This will be support. I would buy in. So if we come down, you might get a little bounce here. But remember, this ring will be support as well. But just like here, there's a lot of support. So your next strong support level, well, your next support level is around, you know, this is an angle. This is just an average, guys. But around 8,880 to potentially 8,900. But actually, this is what I'm considering strong support. This is what I'm waiting for. This is where I want to buy and go all in, because I expect a major bounce when we hit this point. If only temporary, though, I do expect us to catch a major bounce here. And the reason is because you can see we had resistance, 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 pushed above it, found support repeatedly, support, support. So I expect when we come down and hit this point, we'll get a pretty good bounce. So I'll go all in here, and then, you know, as far as it pushes up, I'll sell. We come down, you can see this line right here is a lot of support and resistance. So same thing, we come down here, I buy, ride it up, sell. Come down here, buy, ride it up, sell. Guys, I think we're in a bear market. I think we're going down. This is how I played on the way down. But again, you know, right here is 8,880. Right here is 8,500. That's a good psychological number. A lot of people are going to be buying there. This is 7,960. Down here is 7,339. If we push up, this is 10,500 area. Again, another chart of confluence showing around 10,500. Of course, you know, depends on when we pump up. This is the Binance 2.0 chart. We're coming up on this ring. Something's going to happen. Let's see what this price has been respecting this yellow fib circle very well. You see right here, we had a pivot, pushed up as resistance. This is a pivot, pushed us down. You see price was riding. Let me turn off this ribbon here. You see this is a pivot. We rode up, found resistance, support, resistance. Found support on this ring, support on this ring, resistance. Found resistance at this one, resistance under here. Perfect resistance at this ring, came down. Found some chop on this one, dropped down below. Next time it came down, found support. We pushed up right before it and had a drop, so I expect something to happen when we get to this ring. I have less faith in what's going to happen with this ring. You can see price was respecting it really well right here. You know, we didn't get much of a move here. It doesn't mean we wouldn't have a big move here, but we are coming up on it soon, and that is in about 10 hours. So I would pay attention to this chart. Again, guys, this is the 2-hour Binance 2.0 chart. But again, this right here is, this ring right here is 10,000. This is around 10,500. This is a fib channel line at 10,735. This is 11,500. Next support level here is 9,175. Support level here, you see we've been respecting this support and resistance. This could potentially be 8,450. 8,282. And again, guys, always just go back and look left. You can see that, you know, this line right here is a lot of resistance, support, support. So you know when you drop to this point, this is potentially to catch a bounce. This is way down here. This is 6,200. I'm just showing you, you know, how I play these. But again, the more times that I see prices interacted with a line, the more confident I am, or the more comfortable I am buying at that point. Let's see here. So this is the Bitstamp B chart. This is a great chart for swing trading. You can see how well price has been respecting all of these lines in this fib channel. Let me turn off the volume here. I mean, you can just go back. This is on the 5-minute. We can go to the 15-minute here. But yeah, you can see how well price has been respecting this. I mean, every single one of these: support, resistance, resistance. Pushed up, found resistance here. You wick back down below. See, there's a lot of support and resistance here. Perfect support. Came down to support. So again, you know, perfect resistance. So like this line right here, we pushed above it. We found resistance, resistance, support. So you're going to have a lot of support right here at 9,468, and you're going to get a lot of resistance up here at 9,000. Well, let's just call it 9,800. If we push above that, 10,234, 10,337, and then again, guys, another chart, 10,500. So you know, if you're bullish and we push up, you know, look to get a rejection of 10,500. If you drop below, according to this chart, your next support below 9,470 is 9,357, 9,223, 8,970, 8,743, 8,624. And this chart, this is the Binance swing trading chart. Let's give you a couple support and resistance levels. If we drop down, look for support potentially at 9,510. This here is 9,181, 8,955, 8,735. Remember, guys, these are at angles. Just giving you an average. We pushed up 9,952. You can see this was a lot. This line right here has been a lot of support and resistance. More resistance, more support. You see we got topped out here twice. So if you push up, you know, look for strong resistance right here at 10,229. This is 10,287. And this way up here is 10,742. But guys, this is running a little long. I didn't mean for it to go this long. But again, guys, if you want to access the charts, the link from the website is in the description, opticalartcrypto.com, and follow me on Twitter. This is where I go to first to keep everyone updated. And that is Optical Art chart. That link will be in the description as well. And that Ethereum address, that will be in the description. And guys, remember, if you do want to enter to win that 1080 Ti, make sure that you take a screenshot of you sending payment. Also put your Ethereum address in the email and your YouTube or Twitter name, so I have something to select a name for the winner. And that will be done in a live stream. Guys, that's it. Until the next video.